What's up, beautiful humans? My name's Darius. Welcome to the Artist Morning YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is dedicated to helping spiritual creators gain clarity, momentum, and confidence so that they can share their gifts with the world. By spiritual creator, I mean anyone who believes we are more than humans. Anyone who believes we are souls having a human experience at this time on this planet in this human body, so that we can express and share our gifts with the world. Now, the number one thing, in my opinion, stopping people from sharing their gifts with the world is this disease called perfectionism. It is a plague. It is the number one killer of creative energy, the number one killer of joy, the number one killer of self-expression. And I want to tell you that I have a lot of experience with it. For the last 14 years, I have been creating content online. My photos have been seen by over 100 million people. My videos have been seen by tens of millions of people. I make podcasts, I write, I make meditations. And I'm not saying this to impress you. I'm saying this to let you know I have a wide range of experience expressing myself. And for a very long time in my life, I was shut in. I was muted. I was playing small. I was terrified because I suffered from the disease of perfectionism. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the best cures, some of the best tactics, some of the best tips I have discovered to get over our perfectionism, to stop it in its tracks. Okay? You ready? Let's go. Before I jump into the cures for perfectionism, I gotta lay out the stakes. Because some of you might be like, yeah, I got a little bit of perfectionism. It's not that big of a deal. Let me tell you, it probably is a much bigger deal than you realize. Perfectionism will suck your energy. Perfectionism will rob you of your joy. Perfectionism will make you feel paralyzed and small. Perfectionism will make you believe that you need to get it right or don't even try. Perfectionism will get you to spend more money than you need to, taking another course and another seminar and hiring another person and waiting till you reach this specific level of followers or status before you can actually start playing the game. It robs you of your money, it robs you of your joy, it robs you of your time, it robs you of your energy. And there is a much more efficient, more joyful path forward. And it can get really intense, and I'll tell you a quick story about that. Yes, I've been expressing myself for the last 14 years, and it hasn't been like this, it's been like this. More recently, it's been like this. But I remember when I was starting to blog, and I remember specifically on a few occasions, unfortunately, where I would get a word wrong. And I would absolutely annihilate myself. I would get so critical, so harsh, so intense. And I didn't understand why. And it would steal my energy. And I'd be like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is just too much. The expectations were ridiculous. And for most of us, perfectionism comes from something in our childhood. Surprise, surprise. For me, I was dyslexic when I was a kid and I didn't know it. And so I had many memories of the teacher calling on me to go onto the board and write a simple word like bike. And I was like in grade 6 or 7 at the time. And the letters would just jumble on me. And it was terrifying to go to that board. I would try to ignore the teacher and not make eye contact for as much as possible. And then eventually she'd find me, and I'd go to the board and I write the thing and people would laugh. And it was really traumatic for a little kid because I was being reinforced that I'm stupid and I should not be on stages or in front of classrooms. And so that was playing underneath the surface. And for most of us, there's something that happened, some person that said something or didn't say something. And it's got us in this mentality that we gotta get it right or we shouldn't even try. Okay? And so this video will be an opportunity to let go of some of that crap so that we can feel lighter, more empowered, more confident, and build momentum to express ourselves and share our gifts. Let's go. Okay, ready for the first cure to perfectionism? Repeat after me. Perfectionism is a myth. Perfectionism is a myth. It doesn't exist. It's never been seen in the world. It's a mythical creature that somebody told us about, like the boogeyman, like an energy vampire that will suck your creative energy. But it's not real. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a perfect song, a perfect video, a perfect photo. It's not a thing. And we have been told to pursue it. And we are burning so much energy because we're going towards something that doesn't exist. It's a mirage. And we exert all this energy and all this money. And then we're like, damn, I never got there. I might as well never take another journey like this again, because that was an absolute waste of time. Perfectionism is a myth. Repeat that to yourself when you feel that perfection energy. It's like, it's not a real thing. Here's a super simple tip. Carry pictures, place pictures of yourself as a child all over your workstation. I do this to remind myself when I'm trying something new, when I'm taking a new creative risk, starting a new creative project, that I'm not this adult self. I am this young self who's just getting started, and he needs support. He needs nurturing. He needs soothing. He needs cheerleading. He doesn't need this ridiculous expectation of perfection placed upon him, because he's going to quit and he's not going to enjoy it. And that's not going to get me anywhere. So carry adorable, cute pictures of little you. Okay, so perfectionism doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. And in pursuit of perfectionism, we can do really great work sometimes. The problem is it's not sustainable, because we've been pushing and spending money and spending energy that's past our limits, because we're continually going somewhere that's like, where is this place? Like when I first started making these meditations, the first one I made took me 2 weeks. I scripted every single word. And I had to like say the word perfectly, absolutely perfectly. And it was exhausting. And I remember almost quitting Artist Morning. So I was like, I can't do this. I can't sustain this. 2 weeks for a 15-minute meditation? It's insane. Now, again, that's the beginning of the learning curve, and it's always going to take longer in the beginning. But I needed to create a system that was more fluid and more supportive of me and created more joy. And so the secret to this is, I'm going to do the best work I can, not the perfect work, in a very specific time frame. Nothing gets done without a finish line. Don't believe me? Look at your things you finished and look at all the things you haven't finished. Until there is a finish line, aka a deadline. I know people don't like that word sometimes, but it's any professional artist's best friend. Even though we are like, stress, I got to get it done by this period. Without that timeline, without that finish line, you can't win. So do the best work you can by a specific time frame. And if someone's not giving you that timeline, it's your responsibility to create it for yourself. Here's one I really like. Give perfection the middle finger. Okay, I'm not doing it, but you know what it looks like. Give perfection the middle finger. And here's what I mean. When I am in that perfection loop, it's like obsessive. It's like, oh, just one more take. I'm going to do one more take. I'm just going to like redo that one line. I'm going to redo that one line. And it's just like, oh, this next line I'm going to redo. And this next line I'm going to redo. And it's like endless, because it's a mirage. It's not a real place. It can go on forever and ever and ever. And you have this diminishing return. It's getting incrementally better, but the energy you're exerting is going to drain you for all the future projects. And so I promised myself earlier on in making meditations, because that could go forever and ever and ever, that I would leave one mistake in every meditation. There's a point in which I'm like, oh, I can change that thing. And then I have time in my head, because I use time to do the best work possible, right? And I've got a deadline because people are waiting to hear this meditation live. And I step back and I say, that little mispronunciation of that word, that little misspoken element, that ruffling of some sound in my space, I'm going to leave it in. And I'm going to give perfection the middle finger and say, you don't control me. And this empowered me and took power away from this mythical creature called perfection. And so I challenge you to try it out. Can you intentionally leave one mistake in everything you do? And many times you guys don't hear the mistake. I hear it. And sometimes you do hear the mistake. And I'm like, it's almost like exposure therapy to get stronger by experiencing imperfection and being like, that's okay. I made it. I'm stronger for it. And now I can move on to the next creation. I have really good news for you. Come closer. I'm going to tell you in your ear. Nobody wants you to be perfect. Nobody wants you to be perfect. Perfect is not real. And when people try to pretend like they're perfect, it's not likable. It's like there's a fakeness. There's a Stepford Wives element to it. I used to make these videos and try to get every single line right. Hi, my name is Darius, and I am here to tell you that this video will change your life. And if I messed one word up, I'd have to start again. And I'd have to start again. And I'd have to start again. And I would like grill myself. Whoa, you screwed up. Why did you get that wrong? And I realized that nobody wants me to talk like that. You guys want me to talk like a human. Humans don't talk in perfect pronunciation and perfect sentences. Humans sometimes need a moment to think. Humans sometimes make eye contact and sometimes look away and sometimes aren't sure and sometimes stumble on words and sometimes make up words. That's how humans talk. Now, I'm not saying make videos needlessly long. Make sure you're jam-packing content with value, but you don't need to get every word right. You don't need to get every exposure right. You don't need to get every meditation right. Like, nobody wants you to be perfect. People actually can relate with you when you feel more natural. Now, if whatever you created was just way off, I'm not saying keep that. That's not what I'm saying. Continue to strive for the best you can in the time you have. But don't stress. Don't grill yourself. Don't try to get the script and get every single word right. And then at the end, you're like, wow, I nailed it. Every single word was right, but I wasn't embodying the energy. I wasn't being myself. And people can feel that and they don't trust that. So nobody wants you to be perfect. They just want to feel the real you, the honest you. Now, I've got some bad news for you. But if you really listen to this news, you might discover that it's actually great news. The bad news is, I know secretly or not so secretly, there is a project that you have been working on, you have in your heart that you want to work on, and you are convinced if you made this one podcast, if you made this one course, if you made this one event, if you did this one whatever it is, you'd go viral. You'd explode. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Insight Timer, they'd all be like, wow, this is the best song. This is the best whatever it is. And you think your whole life will change because of that one creation. And I'm here to tell you it's not how it works. And you don't want it to work like that. That is a BS Hollywood love story that is so reductive and so simplistic and takes away the juiciest parts of life. If you really care about the art form, about the creation, about the experience of human, you're not looking for one thing to get you fame. You're looking for a practice that you can continue to do, to continue to grow, to continue to explore, continue to express, continue to impact people. And so the reason this is connected to perfectionism is if you think that one thing you are going to do is going to change your entire life, you're going to put so much time and energy and money and expectations into that thing that there's a really good chance it's, one, never going to get done. Two, if it gets done, you're way over budget and way over energy budget. And also, if it ever gets done and ever gets shared with the world, it's never going to live up to your expectations. There's a much better approach, which is making mistakes fast, publishing and releasing as early as possible, and learning. Not spending a whole whack of money, not spending a whole whack of time and getting resources and all this stuff, and just being like, I'm going to start slow, a little baby pilot project. Here's my first podcast. Here's my first post. Here's my first event with 3 people. And then learn and grow and be like, cool, that was good. Let's see if I can get 3 people at the next one or 4 people at the next one. And do it fast, do it before you're ready, and do it with joy and do it with honesty. Don't pretend to be something you're not. If you're new at this thing, let people know and say, I'm nervous and I'm excited too. And I'm playing and I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm going to continue showing up because my expectations are not based off of this one viral sensation, but I am about legacy. I am here for the long run. And yes, I'll develop and grow and do new things, but the continual journey of expressing myself, I am committed to that for life. I've shared this in a previous video, but it's so important I want to share it again. We need to close energetic loops. Okay, so once you've created something, it's easy to obsess around it and be like, oh, I wish I got that right. Oh, I messed that up. Oh, how did I say that? You don't need to dwell on that creation. The creation's in the past. It's already out there. So you also don't want to ignore it and never acknowledge it or celebrate it. I have this very simple practice of blessing and releasing. Once I've done the best I can, the finish line is set and I've met it and it's published and it's shipped and it's in the world, it's no longer mine. It's in the world and I don't need to defend it and I don't need to iterate it and it's just in the world, it's done. And so I always make sure to bless and release. Bless and release. I release you. I cut energetic cords. Thank you, post. Thank you, video. Thank you. I did the best I can. I'm really proud of myself. And now I bless and release you. And wherever you go, you go. I hope the right people see you. I hope you impact people. I hope I can look back at you one day and continue smiling. Today, I bless and release you, and I don't need to obsess around you, and I don't need to have expectations of how other people will receive you, because that is none of my business. How they receive you is how they receive you. All I can control is doing the best work I can in the time I have available. And then the rest, I let go and let God. Bless and release. This is my last cure for you. This might be too much for some of you. And for some of you, this will be exactly the pill you need. One of the most important things to happen to me on my artist journey, one of the most important things to give me drive and energy to continue creating, even though I had so many doubts and so many just like harsh criticisms for myself, was cancer. My aunt, my beloved aunt, got cancer in 2016. This was devastating for our whole family. She was the glue that held us together. She was like a second mother for me. And that was the first time I experienced anything like that. And this idea got into my head that was, there is a last breath out there looking for her, but also looking for all of us. And nobody knows when it'll find you. Nobody knows when it'll knock on your door, very politely say, hello, Darius. I'm here to collect your camera, collect your laptop. You have shot your last photo. You have made your last video. You have shared your last words. You have made your last YouTube. It's finished. Your time here is done. And he's not mean and he's not cruel. He's very loving and kind, but very clear that my time is done. Last breath has found me. There's no more breaths left and there's no more creation left. It's time to leave this experience. And I kept thinking about that thought every day, that there's no way to know if last breath will find me in 50 years from now or 50 minutes from now. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So if there is something you have to say, if there's something you need, if there's something you want to give, if there's something you want to create in this world, stop waiting. Now is your time. Perfection is a myth. And the only thing real is this moment now. Thank you for watching this video. If you've made it to the end, mad respect. If you'd like more on creativity, I have a course. I'll include it below. It's like $70 on Insight Timer. If you have a membership to Insight Timer, it's free. It's a 7-day, 7 pillars to supercharge your creativity. Meditations, practices, journal prompts. Also, if you want to join me live for an Artist Morning event, they happen every Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everyone is welcome. We meditate, we journal, we connect as a community. It's an incredible community of kind, creative humans. Everybody is welcome and it's entirely free. Come join us. Let's play together. Let's support each other. Let's make something beautiful with the time we have here. I'll see you next time. Peace.